Welcome to the FemiNinja Project. I am your host, Cheryl I Love, middle-aged ninja hiding in plain sight, dedicated to restoring human dignity one person at a time and helping you unleash your personal power. Discover that it's possible to look like a woman, act like a lady, move like a ninja, and think like a warrior. And remember, men are always welcome on the FemiNinja Project. Hello and welcome to another episode of the FemiNinja Project. And thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And today we're talking about life's transitions and how to turn your life around and do something that you really love to do instead of something that you're just doing. And our guest today knows a lot about that subject. Her name is Chelle Johnson. She is an entrepreneur, a global career resilience and abundance consultant, coach, and strategist. She is the founder and owner of The Best You Career Advantage, where she helps people get crystal clear on who they are and what they want, building courage and confidence so that they can live abundantly. Chelle, thank you so much for being here. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Cheryl. I'm excited to talk with you today.
And so I'm looking at this incredible introduction and thinking, wow, that must have been really easy for you, because I know you were in corporate America for a really long time in a very high powered position. And what was it like? Was it just a simple transition to say, oh, I'm just going to do my own thing now and start my coaching business?
Not at all, Cheryl. Not at all. It was quite comfortable being in a corporate position. Actually, that's not true. It was uncomfortable. I couldn't do it anymore. I felt like I was institutionalized and like a corporate refugee that was just living for other people. And I just knew in my heart that I wasn't connected. I didn't feel engaged. I didn't feel like I was my best. And in 2019, although some people might think it was unlucky, I think it was very lucky that I was actually laid off from my big corporate job. And I had to do some soul searching. And I had to really dig deep as to who am I, because I felt even disconnected from my heart, because my head kept, you have to do these things. You are the breadwinner. You are the one that does this. You are the doer in the family. Well, so much doing was unraveling me from just being who I am, being my best. And so, no, it wasn't an easy transition at all. I had to go through a lot of fear and get through that fear.
Fear is a very powerful emotion, and fear can really be paralyzing. So how did you work through the fear?
Well, I think the word paralyzed, lost, disconnected, that inner critic in your head that paralyzes or sabotages or hijacks you, that's our survival brain. And the way I worked through that is, to be honest, I always grew up knowing that the universe had another plan for me. And I'm not religious at all. I'm quite spiritual. About 7 years ago, I lived in Spain for a year in college. I'm bilingual. I love partnering with Latinos in the Hispanic community. And so I went back to Spain and I did El Camino de Santiago, which is the pilgrimage that you walk across Spain. And I did the last 140 miles in 5 days. And so I got a message there that has stuck with me and that I've known my whole entire life. But it's really, no matter what you do, if you do the entire pilgrimage, you start in the Pyrenees in France, and it's very mountainous. If any of your audience have seen the movie The Way, it's where Emilio Estevez passes away and Martin Sheen goes and starts the pilgrimage. Very mountainous, very difficult, steep, high climbing. And then you get through that. And then you go to the area, which is where Don Quixote in La Meseta, which is very flat, very, very just consistent, monotonous, the same scenery. And then you get to kind of this area of Spain where it's hills and not steep, but not flat. And you're just kind of going through the motions to get to the end. And that represents life. It can be very mountainous, where there are cliffs and perils, and you're just trying to survive. And then there's stages of life which are very flat, the same. There's not a lot of new things. And then you kind of get into the flow, and that's where the hills come along. So my message that I got is that no matter what stage of life you're in, if it's paralyzing, if it's things are going okay, that there's something bigger and greater of energy that's going to help you. And for me, I call that the universe. Mm-hmm. And so I really focused on faith versus fear. And to get me through that fear, I had to go pretty low. I cried a lot. I had a lot of self-doubt. I didn't know what I was doing. And, I was really scared. But I'm also very brave and very courage and kind of a risk taker. And I knew that if I didn't try, that I would just be living a life that I wasn't happy with. That wasn't me. And so every day is a learning opportunity. And what I help people with now is overcoming that fear that they're not good enough, that they aren't going to be able to land a job in a pandemic environment. And really go into knowing that faith in yourself and how you resonate and have a higher level of energy. And I am talking a little bit woo-woo, like how you amplify your own internal energy through positivity and facing fear and living your own version of success and not worrying about what other people think or do. That's how I got through my fear.
Well, you say it sounds like woo-woo. And, at one point in my life, I probably would have said, yeah, that does sound like woo-woo, but it isn't. It's really just tapping deep into your nervous system, into your brain, and changing the neural pathways and giving you the opportunity to move on through that.
Yeah, exactly. I actually was in a program in 2020 called Positive Intelligence that is scientifically proven to change that survival mind through meditation and interrupting your day so that you're living your life from a more wise perspective or your true self, and really focusing on how do you navigate life differently? How do you activate the curiosity of who you are? How do you not just do, because busy is kind of steals away your joy. I think by just being busy, your joy is not as plentiful as if you are truly living in life in the present and can go toward goals that allow you to live the way that you want to live that's why my company is called Best Self, because no matter what I tried to do, I was like, it could be positive careers, intelligent careers, courage careers. No, it's best you, because you have to be your best in order to have the best productivity and performance, whether it's in a career or in life.
I think a lot of people just have to be busy because they don't want to not be busy. Because if you're not busy, then you have to be a little bit more introspective, self-introspective, and look at things a little bit differently. I know I have a couple of friends who, if they're not constantly doing something to keep them busy, and it's not even anything really that productive, it's just keeping them occupied so they don't have to think about other things.
Well, I'm kind of the worst at that because I am a hyperachiever and hyper, I love being able to be successful and have fun and do things. But really to get through that fear, I did have to kind of get quiet. And I'm lucky to have my husband in my life who helps me get quiet, and my kids are amazing. And others around me help calm me down because I'm such a hyper doer.
It's really funny. I don't hear that very often, that the kids help calm you down.
Yeah, it's true. My daughter actually is really, really good at, we have our moments,
Mhm.
You might want to cut that part out.
I don't know. I think it makes you real. It's the real thing. It's what life is all about.
Yeah,
It's not
my
always
daughter's pretty
easy.
amazing.
Oh, that's good. How old are your kids?
9 and 13.
So, how do you balance having your own business with having kids of that age? I mean, I think of any age, it's kind of challenging. And then, especially with the pandemic, because a lot of their activities they don't have anymore, in the school and everything. So, how do you do that?
Well, I found some help because I can't do it all. And I work from home. My husband was a stay-at-home dad until I started my own business. He is now becoming certified in another career. And so I had to hire some help. And through COVID, I'm lucky that I found someone that can come a few days a week, because it would not be good for anyone if I were trying to build my business. I can't balance it all. So I know myself well enough that it takes a village.
Mhm.
For me, it takes a whole tribe. And so I've had some help, and I'm willing to ask for it when I need it.
So, when you said those words, you can't do it all, I swear, I heard a choir of angels begin to sing because it's so hard to admit, especially for women. But we can't do it all. And sometimes we do have to ask for help. And I think that's something that's really hard for a lot of us.
I think you're right. Being in corporate and being away and having, my kids full time, you do have to balance it, and you have to do whatever works for you. So having my kids, or having families that we partner with to do pods with, or having a part-time tutor has been helpful. Now, we'll probably never save again for retirement because we're just trying to keep everybody sane in my house. But I am definitely not one to say, I do need help. I need my exercise time. I need time for me, because I go a little nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And I think most people out there do, but I can just admit it openly on air.
True confessions. This is great. So it was a transition for you, of course, going from corporate life to owning your own business and having your coaching career. What was it like for your family? Were they supportive? Was it difficult for them? Or were they just like going with the flow, whatever you say, Mom?
Wow. These are some really, really in-depth topics. I'm very lucky that my husband has been completely supportive. He's the one that should be on your show. He's really into soul searching, and he's been really supportive, and he is my best friend. Has it been easy? No way, because being that hyperachiever that I am, it's been hard to replace a 6-figure income, and it's what do we do about benefits? And then COVID, the kids are at home, and how do you keep their mental health and their mental fitness strong? We just take it day by day. I ask for help. We definitely quarantine when we need to, but we go to the park, or like I'm taking my kids to the Zumba class I attend tonight or teach.
Oh, how fun.
Or, you just do the best you can. And I'm really, really lucky that I have a village that I surround myself with through networking and within my family.
I forgot about the Zumba. And I think that is so, so cool. Of course, I'm a dancer, but I think that is so cool. So when did you get into doing Zumba? And you actually teach now?
I do teach now. So I lived in Spain my junior year, and I have a degree in Spanish, and I've lived in Mexico. I've been to Puerto Rico and Peru and anyway, love to travel, but I'm kind of a Latina at heart, and I love dancing and I love exercising. And so that movement, I've been doing Zumba for off and on for like 20 years.
Oh,
but
wow.
In 2019, I'm like, that hyperachiever came out, and I'm like, you know what? I want to try teaching this. And so I got certified in October of 2019. And then I will tell you, I'm following in the footsteps of some amazing mentors that helped me. And I work at Choose Fitness in Highlands Ranch, Colorado. Now that was when they were having classes, but now those group fitness has been canceled. So we do some online classes, and I mostly participate in classes now because I'm just starting and I'm just starting my following. But yeah, it's really fun, and movement and exercise and getting my blood flowing is something that I do every day, and I recommend to everyone that I work with. And I know it's something, Cheryl, that drew us to each other is that fluidity of life and dancing, and facing obstacles and challenges through the physicality of getting that energy out.
Yeah, it's been a godsend for me my entire life, but especially lately. And that's why I'm a little bit tired today. I took a bunch of ballet classes and several days in a row. I think I took six classes in 4 days. And of course, they're all down here in my basement. I call it my girl cave. But it's still a great opportunity to be able to just get rid of excess energy. And that's where a lot of my mental capacity, if I'm not really sweating and moving and just getting the blood flowing, then I'm not as effective in my work. And I'm not even as effective, in my little family, just with my husband and my dogs. But you just have got to keep moving because it's body, mind, spirit, soul.
It really is that quadrant of body, mind, spirit, soul. My whole business is kind of scheduled around when I go to my muscle fusion classes or my I do high intensity interval training or my dancing, or just really getting that movement going so that my brain is working better, that my spirit is attaching to something that has meaning for me. And so I know that you can resonate with that very well. And I know it might be odd for like a high level Fortune 50 director to become a Zumba instructor and be saying that's part of life. But without it, for me, if you cease to learn and you live in stagnicity or stagnant, you know what I'm trying to say. You're stagnant, that is not living. And if you cease to learn, you cease to live. So to me, living is about what you were talking about of soul and spirit and mind.
Movement is life, stagnation is death. And that's basically it.
Exactly.
And I love the fact that you really shake things up in your physical training. You do a lot of different things, and I think that our bodies are they're like everything else. You can't eat the same dinner every single night, for like 3 months before you get bored and you want to do something else. You want to eat something else. And movement is the same thing. And if you do nothing but Zumba day after day after day, your body kind of gets bored with it. Your nervous system habituates and says, this is nothing. I can just go on like, autopilot, and you don't even get the benefits from it.
Yeah, I agree. But I don't know. I could probably eat sushi every day and not get bored of it, or eat some paella and be okay with it. No, but I'm lucky that I haven't. So many people I know have gained like that quarantine under quarantine. And just by being active, being outside, hiking, walking your dog, working out to Adrian on yoga, or whatever you do, if it's online or in a group fitness class or just by yourself, it's absolutely imperative.
I think especially the getting outdoors is so important. We are so blessed because we do live in the beautiful state of Colorado, where it doesn't snow as much as people think it does. And we get
Exactly.
so much sunshine, so it's easy for us to get out and really enjoy it. So yeah, we're very fortunate that way.
Skiing, hiking, lots of sun, 4 seasons.
I had a friend from back east. I'm originally from outside of Pittsburgh. And I had a friend I was talking to, oh gosh, it was just a few years ago, and he was really in a stuck place. And I says, well, why don't you just get out and do some winter hiking? And he said, winter hiking. Are you insane? And I'm like, oh, that's right. I forgot you don't live here.
No, all you need to do is put your tracks or your micro spikes on and go.
Yeah, it's just great.
It is great.
For people who've never tried it, we both, Chelle and Cheryl, highly recommend it.
Highly recommend it. You need that crisp air on your face. And I've even had people tell me, like, you have to go and do that every day just to keep my own positive mindset, because I got to be honest, I can get in fear pretty fast.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to just go back and say, okay, use that bravery and clear your throat chakra
Uh-huh.
to have your voice heard. And you're helping me do that today. So thank you, Cheryl. I appreciate it.
Oh, no, thank you for being here because it's really a lot of fun to talk to you. And even when you're saying that clearing your throat and finding your voice, you do that a lot in Zumba, don't you?
Clearing your throat chakra in Zumba, I don't know about that, but
No, it's finding your voice because one of the classes that I used to take, a pole class that I used to take, there was a Zumba class right before my class, and we'd come in and they'd be yelling and carrying
oh,
on and
yes. Ooh, ooh, yes. Oh, totally. Yes, yes. We do lots of fun noises, and there's some pretty funny memes and spiffs out there making fun of us. But I'll be the one in the bright T-shirt, just letting out my craziness.
Well, I think it's great. And all I could think of was they look like they're having so much fun, and you would never hear all of that vocalization in ballet class. We keep everything stuffed inside of us.
Yes, my daughters are in ballet and modern dance and contemporary, and they laugh at me now, but I don't care.
That's right. No, that's just icing on the cake when you can embarrass your kids or make them, laugh at you.
Oh, completely,
Yeah.
completely. Yeah.
Well, it just, I was thinking of with the yelling and the carrying on in Zumba, we have in martial arts what we call a kiai or a kia. It's
Mhm.
a spirit yell. And it's that spirit yell, and you just let that pour out of you. And it's like, oh, I feel so good now. It's like all the, everything you're holding back can just come flying out. And it's just very cleansing and actually very calming.
I think everyone should do a spirit yell or an IKEA. Get rid of like, first of all, open up that throat chakra and like let it out. And especially women, like go hit your pillow, go do a haya on your pillow,
Yeah.
like run around, act like a kid. In fact, that's what I tell my clients. I'm like, you're in an adult body, but act like a kid. Like spend time with kindergartners is one of my tips that I give to people because it just reminds you to be creative and natural and laugh and not have any filter. I mean, you have to have filter with kids, yes, but it's really just about you learned everything you needed to know in kindergarten. The other tip I give people usually is join a book club because you're going to get here so many different perspectives and a variety of thoughts. No matter what the book is, I highly recommend joining a book club.
Boy, those are two fantastic tips. I love the act like a kindergartner. And that's one of the things that I think is so perplexing because when we're kids, how did we learn to move? How did we learn to interact with each other and with our environment? We played, and we would play all day long. And then when we get into school, there's less play time, more sitting. And then as we go up through the grades, it's even more sitting. Okay, you might have organized sports or dance or something like that, but we lose the ability to really play and explore our environment and explore life. And that I think really has an impact not only on our health, but our ability to be creative as well.
Again, think about it like this is unless your thoughts can flow freely, kind of like a current, if they're stuck in this muddy muck, they're not going to flow. And if you don't get your body moving and your thoughts kind of flowing like a current, almost like let the wind come in and take out all of that yucky stuff in your mind that's sabotaging you. Those are just negative thoughts. Like your friend that you talked to, go out and do some winter hiking.
Yeah.
Are you crazy? No, it's about getting out of your comfort zone. It's about, well, I'm going to be fearful of doing winter hiking. What are you fearful of? Watch some videos about it and challenge yourself to do one thing a day that takes you out of your comfort zone. What types of things take you out of your comfort zone? For me, it would be cooking. My husband cooks, and maybe I need to like not burn the popcorn, right? Or I don't mean to get too off tangent for you, but what I'm saying is like just really do things that ignite your own passions and that get you out of stagnant boredom and stagnant muck. Get the rocks out of the way in your mind so that you can let your creativity and your innovation come out, because that is when you resonate through your fear. That is when you can be your best. That's when you can act like a kindergartner and kind of not care, right? It's all about movement of energy, of your spirit, your mind, your body. And yeah, so moving from corporate where I was stuck in the muck to I'm still learning every day. I'm doing podcasts. That's moving out of my comfort zone.
And you're doing a fantastic job.
Thank you. Thank you. Doing something different.
So now I know that enjoying that paella, you're not the one that's making it.
Oh, no, no. In fact, my husband doesn't really make that either. But if I could have that, or if I could have like ice cream, like coconut based ice cream, because I'm dairy free, with some berries every day, I'd be good.
So now, what made you decide that you were going to take the coaching route? Was that a gradual decision, or did you just wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and go, I've got it. This is what I'm going to do?
No, being a coach, there's so many people who put that label on themselves of being a coach. And, there's life coaches, mental fitness coaches. I'm a career consultant, and I've actually been coaching high achievers and top performers in businesses for over 20 years. Is it something I just decided to do one day? No. Is it something where when people really got to know me, they sought my guidance and my thought process to really think pragmatically through things and to really get them at their soul level, because I'm not afraid to go deeper. I'm not afraid to ask questions. And I'm not afraid to say it's really, really hard to be brave like that. So no, coaching just kind of, I did it in corporate. And in starting my own business, I had to think about, what am I passionate about? What am I driven by? What am I known for? And I'm known for being an ally and a really good listener and a person who has an incredible network, and for making change and building a community around me that is supportive and authentic and real and supportive of underrepresented minorities, people of color, and really, really genuine. And so I think once you get that trust, that's what the right coach is. It's an ally, it's an advocate that will push you beyond what you ever thought you could do.
How has this pandemic affected your business? I mean, I know everybody's, had to struggle to try and figure out how they were going to manage to survive, or how they were going to make the changes. I mean, it's just been a tough time for everybody.
So, Cheryl, I actually started my business in fourth quarter of 2019. And so I really had to grow my business during COVID. And unfortunately, in March, there was 14.5% unemployment. And so I was lucky enough to have a skill set that a lot of people were seeking at the time. And I've just been building my business through referrals on LinkedIn and through getting my voice out there to really help people. For example, I just started this Denver Career Connectors. Today was our first meeting. I had 2 recruiters on there, and the topic was behind the recruitment curtain, what recruiters really think, and a candid conversation. And we had 40 people on our first call. So it's really about, how do I get the word out? How do I be of service to others? Because if people know that I'm first about serving them and know that I'm just not trying to, I think the universe will bring me clients, and it has. And I've been lucky, and I'm super blessed.
So how can people find you? I want to hear a little bit more about the group that you just started. Sure. And tell us a little bit more about your services and how people can find you.
Absolutely. So I'm on LinkedIn under Chelle, Chelle Johnson, again, Chelle. It's a weird spelling. My website is BESTUYOU Career Advantage. And people can come and sign up for events. I'm actually having I have free webinars on resume rescue, interview intervention, networking for impact. And then my signature webinar is called Amplify Your Awesome. And it's really about how you resonate internally with those negative thoughts and getting rid of them, and then how you resonate as a job seeker. I recently started the Denver Career Connectors. You can find that on Meetup. You can also find it on my events page at bestucareeradvantage.com.
I absolutely love those names.
Thank you.
That's so, I mean, it says it all. And it
Thank
also
you.
speaks very clearly of your creativity.
Thank you. I think I'm going to change resume rescue to rev up your resume, because I have a certified professional resume writer who works for me. I'm a certified interview coach.
Mhm.
I'm a certified recruiter, and you can't get to the director level without having a couple certifications. So, not to be arrogant, but to just talk confidently. I've been really lucky in my career, and now I bring that to my clients.
Mhm. I don't think it's arrogant. I think it's quite humble, actually, especially if anybody goes back and reads your entire resume, because some of the work that you have done and the different, the diverse groups that you've worked with, everything from the military to, I mean, I can't even list it. There were so many subjects and so many topics that you cover.
Well, I'm very passionate, like I said, and I have led employee resource groups, like affinity
Mhm.
groups for diversity. I started the Hiring Our Heroes program for Lockheed Martin,
Mhm.
which at Fort Carson, and Lockheed Martin now has hired over 1,500 military personnel, spouses, and veterans. I've done a lot with first generation college students because I have been lucky and I want
Mhm.
to give back. And it's really about the community. And then I'm lucky enough to have some amazing clients who also don't mind getting a little woo woo and spiritual, and find that that is definitely a better way to resonate and to get through their own fear in a
Mhm.
way of faith.
I think that woo woo is kind of now the new science and the new norm, because there really is
Hopefully.
science behind it all. I just had a conversation with a gentleman today, and he was saying the same thing about woo woo. And I said, I totally get it, because I was always the one very rolling my eyes and tongue in cheek about the woo woo. But then, of course, I found the woo, and there's really science behind it.
There's science behind so much of that. I mean, it's really about quantum physics and
Exactly.
energy, of
Hmm.
how energy is amplified, which is how I came up with the verb amplify your awesome, because it goes down to the DNA level of DNA is amplified, and the amplitude of how you are made. Once you can get into that wisdom, I put those strategies along with positive intelligence, along with strategic career strategies,
Hmm.
and that's how I help people.
And so that kind of brings me back to one of the main reasons why I do this podcast, is because I learned so much from it.
Yeah,
It's just awesome. I mean, talking to people like you and hearing everybody's perspective and what they've done with their lives, and how they're just changing the world, and one person at a time. I think it's just wonderful. So thank you for everything that you're doing. I think it's great.
well, you're helping change the world by having people's voices out there, and thank you for hosting the FemiNinja project.
And I'm so proud of you. You said it pretty well. Most people struggle with it for a while.
It's that bilingual, and I also spent 2 years in Japan, so
Oh, there you go.
I'm good with the accentuation of it.
So, are there any like final words of wisdom, or key points you would like for people to take away and to really think about?
My first one is trust your gut.
Mm.
If you're going through a huge change in life, no matter if it's career or addiction or divorce or relationship changes or whatever it might be, trust your gut, because whatever's coming from your wisdom is what's going to lead you in the right direction. I think the other one is build your courage and build your bravery. That's not something I came up with. A friend of mine actually is a bravery coach. And I take that from her out of respect, because I think it is bravery that allows us to speak our truth and to have that courage and that clarity and that confidence, so that when our gut tells us something, we follow it, we listen to it, and we don't question it and overanalyze it with our inner critic. It's just about living life and having fun and letting that current flow so that you can come up with cool sayings like that.
And I love that, the having fun and going with the flow and keeping the current going.
Well, to me, that's life, because if you get stagnant and stuck in the muck, I mean, how boring.
Well, it's boring, and it's also a little bit dangerous. It's so bad for our health.
It is.
Yeah.
That's what creates all the negativity.
Mm-hmm.
And let's keep it positive.
Keep the positive energy flowing. We sure do need that.
Yep.
Okay, well, Chelle, thank you so much for being on the show. I really have loved having you here. You've got some amazing insights and some really fun stuff to talk about, and some really good points and information that you shared with us today.
Thank you, Cheryl. It was my pleasure.
And everybody, thank you so much for listening. And remember to trust your gut, build your courage, and keep that current of life flowing, because that is the way of the FemiNinja. And that's a wrap on another episode of the FemiNinja Project. Thank you so much for listening. And remember, be safe, be strong, and until next time, bye now.